Hello everyone watching at home, welcome to round 4, the finals of the Adelaide Eternal Vintage Challenge for February 2019. I am Sarven McLinton and in the booth with me is Beckett Wolfe.
G'day guys to you all.
I am also in this match. I am on the left hand side of your screen and I'm on 4-colour Walker control. On the right is Socrates Stavropoulos, another Adelaide Eternal member. He is on bug mid-range. Shall we pop over to Soc's list just to have a quick cheeky look? We've looked at both of these in previous matches. If you are interested in Soc's list, you can check him out in round number 1. And he is on this bug mid-range, so basically a little bit less on the interaction and control pieces, a little bit more on the threat pieces, being able to drop really good 3-drops like Managorger Hydra, Leovold, Raminap Excavator, and Manglehorn. So check that out if you're interested. And then we can switch over to my deck, which was featured in round number 3.
The deck that every doggo loves, Walkie's Control.
Walkie's Control, that's what it is. We are running powerful Planeswalkers in the form of Jace Prodigy, Dax Faden, Jason Mind Sculptor, and Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Now, the deck is 4 colours. It does sometimes stumble on mana, but what it lacks in the occasional miss of not being able to fire off a Pyroblast when you need to, it gains in the raw power of cards like Painful Truths. If you want to see that being cast, check out the previous round. Let's jump down to the match then, I guess. Oh, this is me. It's in my player profile. That's me. The end. All right, in the match, we have just drawn our 7 cards. All right.
So you're on the left.
I'm on the left.
Socks on the right. Yeah, on Walkies. It's going to be a rough matchup.
Oh. Nice. Socks now have a dog of a time if I win. Here's Dig Through Time, Gataxian Probe, Demonic Tutor, Tundra, Jason Mind Sculpt. Here's Sock's hand, Force of...
What was it? What were we saying last video? L and L? Longer and lower?
And lower. Shorty. Let's check out me on the draw, Sock on the play, Gataxian Probe. Let's see what it's actually running.
This Force of Will on a Gataxian
No,
Probe?
he's just revealing it. You thinking pitchly evolved to Force of Will.
I was having a heart attack. Oh, God.
So good. Well, let's just have a look at his hand. So now we actually see what we didn't see before. Yixila Jailer, Misty Rainforest, Basic Island, Abrupt Decay, Leovold, and Force of Will. Here's a preordain from me.
Very terrible play there from Sock. Force pitching Leovold and then accidentally revealing his other 4 cards.
Oh, okay.
Just terrible. Just awful.
So my hand seems decent, right? Like I had a good mixture of lands and spells, and most of the spells are dramatically powerful spells like Snapcaster Mage and Jason Mind Sculptor. These are great in a control mirror, as long as I can dodge his powerful cards like Leovold. These are really, really strong.
Yeah, I haven't seen much Abrupt Decay in like a mid-range deck. I run it in my bug combo list in the sideboard.
You like to hit a Thorn or a Galactica's Cage or something?
Yeah, but like he's sort of playing it in a spot removal, like a Lightning Bolt sort of style spot. And interestingly, he's not playing Assassin's Trophy, even though Assassin's Trophy arguably hits. I mean, it'd be better against you because you're on Walkies, but it hits a lot more different threats. And it's not. You can hit Jace, you can hit 4 color, you can hit, 4 mana. But the uncounterable, how relevant is it, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's
not that many basics either.
It's interesting, like not hitting Jace, but not being countered is it could go either way.
I'm running a 2-2 split. I'm running like 2 decay, and 2 trophy.
Right. Well, look at this interesting change here. This is Yixila Jailer on turn 2. Exactly what we're talking about from this deck. It's just presenting threats and forcing the other person to just do something. Like, you have to answer this. Note that I have Snapcaster Mage in hand, so it's actually doing work. So here is a fetch for an Underground Sea for a Demonic Tutor. What do you tutor for?
I'd probably tutor for... Well, I don't know what your deck is, but maybe a Pyroblast for the Leovold, unless...
No consideration for Library of Alexandria?
No consideration, no.
Because I'm on the I'm on the draw, right?
Yeah.
And I have a full hand, and I haven't dropped any cards from my full hand.
Yeah.
And if he didn't Force of Will... balance. If he didn't Force of Will the Demonic Tutor, then that means he's probably Force of Willing what I cast. I think in retrospect, maybe I should have got Library of Alexandria.
I do like balance though, because balance cleanly deals with Leovold. There's not many clean ways to deal with Leovold.
I think that's the reason why, because I was like, okay, if I get balance here, because my hand's full of Force of Wills, if I get balance here, he plays Leovold, and then I go, I don't want to give you any card advantage. I'll play balance. He casts Force of Will, I cast Force of Will back, and then we end up both going down to something like 3 cards, and on my card is Dig Through Time Jace. Seems good.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. Although library is also interesting.
Yeah.
But maybe a bit slow against a proactive and aggressive hand.
Yeah, I think that's probably why I decided against it, where it's just like next turn library seems bad. And he's got like a Mana Gorger Hydra here, so it's pretty decent, right? So I have 2 forces and 2 blue cards, so that's probably the reason why I'm forcing this. I'm trying to think of... Because I've got balance.
I don't mind forcing this because A, you might bait out the other force. B, you might just realise that, well, what you were saying before, you balance and then you're left with good cards. He's not. If you balance here, he can just keep Leovold.
Yeah, and I think maybe...
you balance, he just goes untap Leovold, and now you're
agree.
in,
Yeah, I think you're right. That's why
barking up the wrong tree there,
Remembering back to the game, I think I was like, well, you've got Force in hand. You know that I know you have Force and you have Leovold in hand. So... The other thing it was going to help me detect is whether the other card is a blue card. Because if it was a blue card, he just snap forces it. But if it's not a blue card, he doesn't want to pitch Leo.
Very good point. Although I don't mind if that is a blue card. I don't mind not forcing that there, because you can just untap, play Leo with force backup, and your jailer's still getting in there, still chip chopping away.
Yeah, true.
Wasteland here though could put a spanner in the works.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember whether I just drew Wasteland off the top there or not, because. Or maybe it was in my hand, because either way, I was doing the calculation and going, if I don't waste your land now, Leovold is going to trigger when I wasteland something. So I'm going to have to either waste it now or not. But then I decided if I don't waste it now, it forces him to cast Leovold. Then it allows me to actually cast a balance for max value, but I can waste his land either after or before before the Leovold, whilst the Leovold's on the stack, or I could waste it. Maybe I could waste it after resolving
fourth
balance.
land anyway. So it wasn't a blue card, but it was a land.
Yeah.
So this is sort of like, oh, is it blue and I play around force, or do I waste? But then that's bad against the lands. What's the text on Yixla Jailer?
Cards in graveyards lose all abilities, something like that.
Could you arguably snap, target like, a brainstorm or an instant spell?
Yeah,
block,
you can still target it.
Yeah, block, and then trade them, and then cast your etc.
Yes, you can, and I believe I actually make that specific play in this game at some point, because
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was like, look, I believe I can target a card, but I can't. And it has flashback, but then it loses it. No, but then maybe I don't make that play, because I think we had this discussion where it's like it loses
its ability
so
to get flashback.
So like it doesn't ever get the flashback,
right.
And then when
it gets flashback, but then instantly loses it. It's able to be targeted by snap.
You target it, but then it's like, well, it loses its ability of flashback, and then I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, judges, please.
Judge.
No, it hasn't happened in the game yet.
We're just gonna call judge, and we'll just wait until the judge comes over in the commentary.
Might be waiting for a while. It's a pretty long hike up my driveway, and I live in the hills. For those who don't know, very very far away from anything. So dingo whoop whoop. What have we got here? We've got
a dog.
Another dog reference for our... So here comes Dig Through Time. So I've got balance in hand.
Dog through time. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
So I am casting this spell to exile all of my graveyard. Remember that obviously Yixla Jailer turns off cards, but it doesn't turn off Delve. You can still pay them as a cost. And I still haven't snapped off the balance yet, so I'm trying to wait for the right time to leverage it. It was interesting because I DT'd for the balance so early in the game with the intention to play it the following turn, because I was expecting Sock to just jam that Leovold the following turn. Because he didn't, he actually kind of stranded that card in my hand and made my Demonic Tutor less value.
Yeah, Delphi I found is really, really good. Like, it gets around so many things. It gets around Thalia taxes and like Trinisphere and all this other stuff. Like, it just always seems to work out for the delving person. And in this case as well, like, Graptica's Cage is another good example. Like, you can still just exile and get value out of your graveyard, despite them having graveyard hate. It's really, really cool. I'm a big fan of Delve, especially in Vintage.
For sure. Interestingly here, I think the dig was in his upkeep or something like that, because this was a dig and then...
Well, he's got 4, so you don't want him to find like a good Force of Will target.
Yeah, I did it in upkeep because if he drew a land, he would have 5 lands for Force of Will.
Yeah, I'll pay that as well.
Yeah, so like I did it in upkeep, and what did he drew? He drew Black Lotus and played Black Lotus. So
not quite a land,
not quite a land.
Basically a Lotus Petal.
Still for a two for 1 there, or 1 for 2.
But he's switching on Hardcast Force here, so
yeah,
it's correct to play the Lotus there because you don't want to pitch Leovold. If you had to pitch Black Lotus or Leovold, which would you pitch? Probably Black Lotus.
For sure.
So just casting it is the same as preemptively pitching it. And if you rip a land now, you've just got like Lotus on the field as well. So
agreed. So I think he drew a land. Yeah, so now he's got Force of Will hardcast off the Black Lotus.
Although he should have kept up Underground for Abrupt Decay.
True. Yeah, so that's a marginal thing, but he should have just kept the Abrupt Decay up.
No,
he needs a black.
Yeah, because it's blue.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
Played correctly. So this is pitch
pretty
Snapcaster,
bad, yeah.
and I think I pointed at the Ixalar Jailer. I'm like, yeah, this is basically dead here. It could flash into block. I believe I was planning to flash into block at some point, but now that he's played the second creature, balance time. It's all about the balance.
Yeah, it feels pretty bad to like force when he's got force, but balance puts you guys pretty well at parity, obviously.
Yeah, that's This is pretty much the play where I'm like, look, he's 100% going to Force of Will to protect the Leo, because you're never playing around Supreme Verdict effects. You're always playing like, well, if I get Leo to resolve, I'll draw a card when they target it. But here I'm like,
and it's perfectly reasonable. I mean, so many people respect Leovold, and so they're like, well, I just have to Pyroblast it now. And then they Pyroblast, you get your draw card. And then Sock's like, yeah, sure. I cast it. We fought over it. He forced. I drew from Pyroblast. I'm ahead. Balance here, though, we were saying just now that it's parity. It sort of is and it isn't, because, if you're the one who's got the cards in hand, you can discard down to the best card you've got left, and Sock has to discard down to Abrupt Decay exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So you can sort of like get a bit of an advantage in terms of that questioning. There is a really good interaction here with Wasteland Strip Mine, where you can cast Balance, hold priority, Wasteland, hold priority, Strip Mine.
It does the same thing, but all I do is just I balance, and he sacks either nothing or everything, or two things. If I use the strips, I'm lower on lands, so he's also lower on lands. So
balance is an instant, so you can't just hold priority.
Yeah.
But you do get choices of.
So what you do is you cast the balance, and then you just strip him off 2 colors afterwards, or before. It doesn't matter. It's like literally it doesn't change anything. But the advantage of the waste and strip is that I have 2 land destruction effects. He's got lands. He's got the tricolor lands of all the 3 different colors. So you can waste him off 2 colors of your choice, i.e. 2 black or 2 green.
Yeah, you're probably not getting him off blue, are you?
Yeah. I'm pointing out the interaction here between Leo. I'm reminding him of his trigger. This is very important.
Oh, so you're letting him draw because you're going to get balanced anyway?
Yeah, because my hand has two very good cards in it. And I believe that my 2 very good cards are better than
Abrupt Decay, one random. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So, and then I say, now post balance. So I discard Pyroblast, and now I've got 2 really good cards. And now post balance, I strip the other black source.
Yeah, I think that was pretty well played from you. You're keeping him off Abrupt Decay, which isn't really doing heaps anyway. Although, did you say you got Jace in here? Jace Friends?
I got Jace the Mind Sculptor. Okay. So the plan is to go land Jace the Mind Sculptor next turn. I think. Because my choice there was to keep the Pyroblast, but I believe I keep land Jace the Mind Sculptor.
No, you hope he didn't rip Black Mana Leo.
Yeah, his other card would have to be specifically Leovold and specifically Black Mana, and then I'm like, oh no, there's a Black Mana. Yeah, I was about to say Max Punish, but I didn't, because 1 random card's still worse than an exact game plan. I've got a very, very clear game plan here. And no, actually, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Jace Vryn's. No, it's not Jace Vryn's. It's Gush. That's what it is. It's Gush, Jace. So that Gush is the fourth land.
Right.
That's what
so
I was thinking.
Exactly. So you don't have to hope to hit fourth land.
Yeah,
you just got it.
Yeah. Rather than keeping a land in hand, that feels bad. Like give you a random card so that I can keep a land. Bad. But give you a random card so I can keep Gush. Good. So here's the float.
That's pretty good. And even if this gets counted, I think like you're still decent because you got a bit of card advantage from the Gush.
Yeah, he needs to have hard cast Mindbreak Trap. That's the only thing that you could actually have. So this puts me firmly ahead because Abrupt Decay doesn't deal with it.
That's right. And he's playing a very creature heavy. You know, he's gonna like rip Manglehorn and then what? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not that many outs. I mean,
yeah.
Leovold's very good. And it's a testament to how good Leo is. But I think even Leo isn't. You know,
it's not game over.
It's not a switch. It's not a complete like game changer. It's just like a very good draw.
And now because I engineered that balance, leaving only allowing him to draw a card, now this is what my hand looks like.
It's pretty sweet.
Seems decent. And I just don't play the Jet there because Jet's a card for Brainstorm.
Yawgmoth, I mean, your hand's a bit too full now, but Yawgmoth is so good with balance as well. You know, if you're in like a really late game, you can just like pitch your hand and then like Yawgmoth's balance and then keep going off from your graveyard.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing balance doesn't interact with.
So here's an Ancestral Recall, ready to fill this hand even
further.
So
he's recalling first there to dig deeper. If he brainstorms first with Jace, it'll just like C3, put you back, and then see those two again. So
correct. And you know that Fetch Land is in my hand, and I had put the 2 lands that I gushed back onto my deck, and now I'm going to put those 2 lands back again, have a Fetch Land, get rid of them, just max value. So your card... The card quality is just very, very high then.
Yeah, you're looking pretty strong here.
Yeah, it's firmly in the driver's seat here, as you can see. I've got Teferi for next turn. And...
Teferi, I really am liking Teferi in Vintage.
As a one-of, a fun-of, it's pretty decent. And it's the main thing is its name is not Jace the Mind Sculptor, and that makes it actually really good. Because you can control both Jace the Mind Sculptor and Teferi, and that's... And also, he doesn't get shut off by Pithing Needle, naming Jace the Mind Sculptor. You know, people just don't play around Teferi, right? So, fetch land, shuffle those lands back in. Oh, look, it's Snapcaster Mage for Ancestral Recall. Let's draw 3 different cards. Yeah, game is pretty firmly over. This is largely academic at this point. I have to keep playing it out, though, because Soccer's not conceding. And so...
Pesky.
So I'm like, okay, I got to play this out, and... because Soccer looks so confident, he's just drawing cards, looking confident. I'm like, oh no, what has he got? Has he got, Assassin's Trophy, and I have to like somehow generate as much value off the Jace as possible so that when it does get trophied, I'm far enough ahead. Do I have to start keeping the Snapcaster Mage back for some kind of flash attacker? Well, there's none. When you don't know your opponent's lists, it can be very tricky. Like imagine if you had Vendilion Click, and he just goes click end of turn, attacks Jace or me, and I go, oh, I didn't keep any Swords to Plowshares.
Still, I think you're very, very far ahead here, and I think it's pretty inevitable, especially since you've already got the threats on board. And you've got a Teferi on the stack.
Speaking of threats, there we go. There's a concession. So that was not really actually quite a swift game one by control standards. Only took about looks like 15 minutes. So.
I mean, the walkies take a while.
The walkies
regardless,
do take a while.
Even the swiftest of
every
walks.
doggo likes a nice trot around the park. So when it comes to sideboards, what does Socrates bring in?
What do? Crucible of World seems good against a control deck.
Pithing Needle seems okay, but not great. Looks like he's only actually got one
card.
card.
Four Wasteland, 1 Strip, which I think is actually decent versus you because you're on 4 colour.
Yeah, they're good.
Especially with a Ramanap and a Crucible of World. So I don't mind that. I don't mind the Needle, as you say, to name Jace or something other, but
he doesn't know how many
Jack
Fadens I'm playing as well in terms of the Crucible.
Knowing you is probably 5, right? How many are you running?
Max number. No, 2. Max number when you're playing 4 color walkers. Otherwise, I'd be on 3 for sure. Yeah. So good.
So I've got this one Dak Faden, but he's like scratched out the name and he's written, something else. Liliana the Veil, so that he's allowed to play 5. So really good. You should try that in a tournament.
Highly effective.
Highly effective. So anyway, I think Crucible's surely coming in. Maybe Needle, but only if you've got something you really want to take out. Probably taking out Nalrod.
He's already probably pretty good in the main deck.
Yeah,
here's my board. So I took out... I brought in Swords of Plowshares, Notion, Thief, Pyroblast. That's what I brought in. So the reason I bring in 2 Swords of Plowshares here is, well, you can look at it right on Socrates' deck list. He's got a maximum number of threats. He's just got so many threats. And not all threats...
Or even Swordsing a Shaman's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Swordsing a Manglehorn's going to be good.
And not all of those threats can be answered by Pyroblast, which is usually the case with control decks. You're like, oh, you got a Notion Thief, I got a Pyroblast, and so on and so forth. One of the weaknesses of the Bug midrange deck is the fact that it can't run Pyroblast. So one of the best answers for Jace the Mind Sculptor, Dig Through Time, Treasure Cruise, Ancestral Recall, Teferi, all these things, Snap Custom Age. Pyroblast does so much work in Vintage, which is probably the reason why I can't be off-red. Like, I love Esper, and I love Teferi, and I love Balance and all these cards, but I just can't not play red. And the red in the deck is really only for 2 Dak Fade in the main, and a couple of Pyroblasts between them as well. That's it.
Worth it.
Definitely worth it. The 2 best cards in red, right? So here's Sock's hand. Nullrod
And a Force of Will. And a Wasteland.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's kept Nullrod. Like, Nullrod's fine against any deck in Vintage because there's always going to be Moxen. But, like, you're also running Moxen.
Mox, Land, Double Preordain, Dak Faden, Brainstorm, Time Walk.
Seems good.
Yeah. Seems good the amount of time I held that hand too.
Longer and longer, ladies.
So what have we got? We've got 6 cards down for Sock. And he's making... I mean, this never feels good, but... Time Walk.
Blizzleflom.
I saw a Flooded Strand. That's about... between the two of us, we got 3 cards out, I think.
They're just eager to play,
Yeah, that's true.
They're eager to get on down to it. Shaman, I like Shaman.
Death Shaman. Yeah. Excellent opening. Yeah. So, I almost forget to draw there because I'm just like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. So I'll go to... Oh, wait.
I think you were showing us that you had Delta and you were like, oh, now my fetch line's bad.
Yeah, that is exactly what I said. I was saying to Socrates, I don't think I want to crack a fetch because you have Leovold, Managorger Hydra, Ramanap Excavator, and just the list goes on, Manglehorn et al. So, Preordain. Let's try and find some answers for...
So you ripped that Volk. It's a pretty good rip, really.
I did, yeah. I ripped the Volk. It's pretty sweet. Better than fetch land in my hand.
Probably.
I mean, you can still play the fetch land, but this denies them. I mean, look, at the end of the day, he's got Flutterstrand in hand anyway, so the fetch land doesn't change anything. Measurable.
You're going to keep Pearl in hand scared of a Manghorn or something?
I probably should play that Pearl, hey?
Well,
I got Saf. I drew...
well, no, because Manghorn enters and destroys.
Oh, it enters and destroys, yeah.
But also, it comes... But, so, like, you get it, but it's slow, so...
True. Well, I played both of my Moxen into Time Walk, and I believe this is specifically... I told him specifically, I said, you untapping playing Fetchland Leovold wrecks my entire hand, so I have to Time Walk here.
Here's the deal, guys. If someone else Time Walks with no threats on board, it's wrong. And if Sarven Time Walks with no threats on board, it's because of extenuating circumstances, all right? So don't judge him.
Fundamental attribution error. It applies directly to me and all of you from your own perspective.
I do understand your logic here. I do, but it's kind of funny, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Everyone else's time walk is wrong.
We're judging everyone else in the other videos for time walking wrong, and then you've like done the exact same, sort of fundamentally the exact same thing.
Mox, time walk on turn 1. Go and explore. Here we go. This is just how afraid I am of fetch land Leovold. Yeah. Just because my hand is full of preordains. So if my hand is full of preordains and the Leo comes down, just imagine, and it's Dak as well, right? How bad is Dak and preordain against Leovold?
Keep in mind, if you're someone who's playing Time Walk and it looks bad, you're not allowed to defend yourself because you're not.
Just say I would do it. Say this is what Sarven would do.
You have to write it because you can't say it because you're not commentating. So you have
Please write a thesis on it as well and
write it.
Say like why it was correct.
Thing about that is,
so as you can see here, Dak Faden, I've essentially been able to Preordain and Dak Faden before Leo comes down and try to find Swords to Plowshares / Balance. I think I might have decided Balance out, I think. Yeah.
It's an aggressive fetch there. Sock's ready for it. He's keen as. He's got the Force of Will up.
I understand now. I completely understand now. The other reason for time walking there was because I play out my Moxen. Explore is good. I play out my Moxen and then I get a turn 3 Teferi.
Yeah. Explore is good. Oh.
Abrupt Decay. Yep, Dak Faden has done.
But you didn't keep a land because obviously you wanted to keep up Force. I understand.
Yeah,
but
Force blue card.
I think hopefully you were hoping to activate Dak. Make sure you find land.
Yep. And as you can see here, I'm immediately punished. And I proceed to regret this play for the rest of the game.
Proceed to regret phase.
Proceed to regret phase. I draw Pyroblast instead of drawing another land.
Like, you don't want to... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, arguably you could have kept land and not Brainstorm, and then you Teferi the Levold away. Arguably. Like, it doesn't feel as good as forcing it, but maybe that was the play.
Oh, for sure. That's all right. Don't worry about rest of game. I ended up drawing Library of Alexandria as my next one, so keeping Brainstorm Force of Will was correct.
Hey, Teferi untap Library when you're close to 7 is pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. So Force Pitch Time Walk, and I go Force Pitch Brainstorm, and Flusterstorm is Socrates' last card in his hand.
Brutal, because you've got a Pyroblast.
I've got a Pyroblast.
So you could let the Flusterstorm resolve and then Pyro the Force again.
Yes.
And be absolutely fine.
Yep. And
it's pretty rough.
Yeah. This one moment is the moment I was talking to with Sock at the time, and I'm like, I believe this is the end of the game. From this moment, because my hand is now Pyroblast, which does nothing to Deathrite Shaman, and Pyroblast does not answer a single one of Sock's threats. They're all green, right? And it
hits Leo, but that's it.
Yeah. Gives them a card.
And he's draining you, making your dig 2 times worse, making your treasure cruisers worse.
So, and you know what the next card I drew was? Volcanic Island.
Nice.
Yeah. So
maybe you should have waited.
Yeah, but in hindsight, yes. But in reality, look at that. How many sources would that be of red? It would probably be something like 12 at
But you don't need the
most,
second
11.
red source, right?
No. Like a fetch land, if I count 6, was it 1, 2, 3 fetches are gone. So I've got 3 more fetches in the deck. I've got 1 Volcanic Island and I've got a Mox Ruby. 5.
No, but you've already got red. It can be any land.
Oh, okay, any land, right. So let's say 15 odd sources. So 15 out of about 40 something. I guess 1 in 3 chance. So I could wait an average of 3 turns.
But also you could have kept up Force of Will there. Just said pass. Keep up Hardcast Force.
Yeah.
And say, if you have Leo, I have Hardcast Force.
And misstep. So this is me with exasperated expression.
I felt like Sock was so far behind.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, Sock felt so far behind. He felt really frustrated, and then his Flusterstorm ended up being absolutely clutch. And then his dig through time and misstep. Like, how often do you even want misstep now? You don't want it. So he's looking at this misstep, and then he sees my Pyroblast, and he goes, "Perfect, missteps my Pyroblast." So this game was like well and truly decided by me.
How disappointing would it be if you're an explorer, you explore, you've got a very expensive explore, and at the end of it, you're just stuck with 5 lands and nothing to show.
Yeah, so like your hand, this is the ultimate question, right? You wanted to play Teferi 2 turns ago, you finally draw your 5th land, your hand is now Pyroblast, Teferi, blue card Force of Will, and you go, oh, if I play Teferi here, I have Force of Will. My opponent has 3 cards in hand, which could represent Force of Will blue card and something else. And you're like, okay, do I go for it or do I wait an average of 3 turns to wait for my 3rd mana source? And they have it.
All right, so please side out Stone Null right here.
So as you can see, this was game 2. I knew I was going to lose for sure after that interaction. So I choose to scoop really quickly because we need to be able to fit in our 3rd game. If we don't fit in our 3rd game, we won't make a decider. And to be honest, the decision here is actually relevant to the rest of the tournament. If I win, I am probably first. If Socrates wins, He is second, guaranteed second, and I am guaranteed third, and Steve Lowe is guaranteed first. If we draw, then Steve Lowe will be guaranteed first, and between Socrates and I, count back will determine which one of us, I believe. Well, no, actually, I'll be second because, yeah, that's right. If we draw, I'm second because Socrates has a loss and I've got a win. I've got a draw with Steve. So this is all about I need to bash. I need to win this game. If I can win this game, then I win the tournament. If I draw, then I come second. And if I lose, I come second as well.
It's a bit better, a bit landy. Misty strip preordain, I think.
I've got library on the draw, so it's just a snap keep, regardless of what the rest of the cards are in this grind fest.
Yeah, and you've got another land and preordain there, so it's a decent hand. Hopefully, Sock doesn't have a blitz opening, is what you're thinking,
Yeah, if he goes
Death
right into Leo, that's really bad. Oh, wait, I'm on the play. Yeah, that's all right. So I don't go for library here because now I'm remembering. Because if you lead on library here and you pass turn and he goes wasteland, it's bad. If you don't play a land and he goes, okay, I'll get ahead, and then next turn you play the library to draw a card, then it gets wastelanded.
Yeah, I don't think you should be not playing,
an option,
especially against a mid-range deck like Socks.
Yeah, and the main thing is here I'm playing to win because a draw here means I'm second place, but a win is what puts me there for the win of the event.
It's a really good point how, it's interesting how decisions are different when time's a factor, isn't it?
Yeah, like just imagine, your library hands and you're like, oh, okay, I'm just going to jam this library and ride this. And you're like, wait a second, if I ride a library, I'm not going to have a threat for about, at least minimum 5-6 turns. And then when I finally do, we'll probably be in turns. If my opponent plays quite slowly as well, that's going to add amount of time to it as well.
It reminds me of chess, because in chess, some people, you can play for a draw. Like, obviously, draws are a lot more likely in chess. Or maybe not more likely, but time's not a factor. But yeah, you can play. You can analyze pro games, and different players will play differently because one's playing for a win, one's playing for a draw. Or they're both playing for a win, so they both play aggressively. It's really interesting to watch, and it's sort of like this. You're not playing for a draw at all. You definitely want to play for a win.
Yeah, I have to aggressively play. And I mean, when you've got a hand with Gush as well, that allows you to play aggressively in the first couple of turns with a plan to draw back up into library when you need to. But I'm really, my ponder there, do you remember if my ponder was a shuffle or not? Either way, yeah, wasteland, right?
Although he knows he's got library.
Yeah, I know. That means he has a second wasteland, right? My ponder there was do I have a mentor or a Lotus or, Lotus and mentor?
I don't love wasteland there because he knows you've got, not just library, even if he has another waste. He knows you don't just have library, you've got another land, a fetch land as well. So if you go fetch land here instead of going library.
Or the reason as well is if I play fetch land, yes, it has strip mine. If I have fetch land and I preordain, that's really bad because he's telegraphing as a second wasteland effect. So I would lose my land that I used to preordain.
Or you could just land go though.
Yes, correct. But if I'm land going, then library's really bad. So I should play library, right? Because then if
I think going Flooded Strain Go is pretty good there. You keep up misstep, you help Gush, you're still developing your board, albeit slowly,
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I mean, Sock doesn't really have anything going on himself, does he?
True. I mean, you could always be worried about, Lotus Ramanap Excavator being locked out of the game. Whilst you don't play around one-offs, you should play around
Lotus Ramanap.
Yeah, Lotus Ramanap.
Strip.
You're
it was pretty good.
Oh, did you bring your night vision goggles again?
I'm liking how Strip Mine's just randomly illuminated.
Yeah, you're right. Strip Mine is just really ethereal there, isn't it? So now Sock has a real land. I mean, he's been wastelanding every turn of the game.
I know. Oh, maybe it was a Strip Mine. I was pretty sure he had 2 Misties in his opener. So
okay,
he had a very land heavy hand. So it's maybe another reason he was stripping and wasting. He didn't have gas. Yep. He had land heavy, but he was like, I can catch you. Yeah, I'll just strip and waste, and at least I'm doing something. I can draw into a threat while I'm wasting.
Yeah. Yep. Fair enough. So this is a crack flooded strand, probably for black source, so that I can use the demonic tutor, unless one of those 2 cards in my hand is something of a different color, like a source to plowshares or something else that I need a white source for.
Pyroblast.
Yeah, Pyroblast could be a good example of one that you want to hold up. But here I'm casting
TT Jason's Prodigy.
DT is almost certainly going to be DT here, right? Because I've fetched out the Underground Sea. And there's only one Underground Sea in the deck, so it getting wastelanded would be pretty punishing. But I do have land for the turn as well. So now this prevents me from getting wastelanded or something because I've got Gush. You know, if you had a wasteland heavy hand, I'm like, yes, I've got the Gush ready to go to protect myself.
He does know you got Gush now.
Yep.
So,
he's
Probe was actually really good.
Yeah, Probe's so powerful, even though it's a singleton in Vintage. It's just really so powerful to know your opponent's hand. You know, information and playing around it is just invaluable.
I would say it is valuable.
Oh, okay. Which means it's invaluable.
It's like flammable and
flammable. So what do you DT for here? Because I'm going into the tank here a little bit.
I like Jace. I like Jace screens.
So I've played a land for the turn though, keep that in mind.
So you want to cast something right now? Gosh, you're greedy.
No, I passed turn. I'll show you what I tutored probably in a
Better
second.
not be Dak Faden.
You know I love the Dak.
Better not be Dak Faden with the Dak
the
Faden
Dak.
name scribbed off and says
Liliana
Lily
Hope. So Soccer's fetching his lands here, and I mean if it's only fetching one, I sense like Uxila Jailer or something. But if he's fetching both of them, then that's the nightmare, right? That's the
Sock's gonna shuffle, and then he's gonna think, and then he's gonna fetch again.
Where you make a decision halfway through, like, hang on, what is this? 1 mana is a Deathrite Shaman? Preordain, okay. So Preordain, playing Mox Emerald then Preordain. What do you think is the benefit of that? Because it doesn't play around Flusterstorm, right? It plays around Spell Pierce, which just not many people are playing, but it doesn't play around Flusterstorm because it's a spell itself.
No comment.
Okay, so maybe
I guess he's just like, I'm always going to play this. I want to hit my third land.
I guess it's just like information you don't need to show when you're preordaining.
Yeah,
like, how valuable is preordained to be misstep? Because my misstep is on the board. Yeah. Maybe it's intentional. He plays the Emerald to say, I have fewer cards in hand. There's less stuff for you to be scared of. I'm going to preordain here, and he wants me to misstep his preordain. You know, he's like, oh, I'm flooded out. You know, and then
there's actually like quite a bit of like logic into whether or not you should play or should hold, like especially when we've got Mangle Horns and stuff. You've got Artifact Destruction to play around, but then you've also got like counter spells to play around and Foster Storms, and if you're playing Storm or something, there's like quite a lot of thought that can go into holding or playing your Moxes.
Yeah, except Moxen don't interact with Flusterstorm well. They do literal nothing. They pay 1 more for Flusterstorm, but they pay 1 more for Flusterstorm.
Yeah, but they also cost 1 more for Flusterstorm.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but they pay 1 more for Flusterstorm.
But they pay 1 more.
Yeah, but they make Flusterstorm more expensive.
Yeah. So you pay 1 more, but then you play 1 more. So it's 1 more. So that's the most important thing. Moxen is a non-bow with Flusterstorm. Unless it's on your turn. You're the one casting the Fluster. Whoa.
Bang.
Maybe that's what it is.
He's got Flusterstorm.
Yeah, is this Leovold?
Well, he was playing around Flusterstorm.
Yeah, but then he should have...
Because he was casting it, so that there's more counters on Flusterstorm.
On his own Flusterstorm.
So that when he Flusterstorms your Flusterstorm, there's more counters.
Just don't do it on MTGO, right? And misclick it.
Do you know how many times I've misclicked on MTGO Flusterstorm triggers? It's so annoying.
Do you ever do it in real life?
This Flusterstorm targets this copy. This Flusterstorm targets this copy. You played the same copy twice, the same imaginary copy.
And you like play Flusterstorm and you go all on this, and they're like, oh, you said all on this, but you pointed to this one.
Jeez.
So this was a time walk from Sock the
missed
Explore.
a little bit, haven't we?
Yeah, so he cast Explore, he went to his next Explore turn, and he cast Leovold with 1 mana up. So what this means to me is like, obviously you have Flusterstorm. Like you definitely 100% have Flusterstorm. So the trick is, do I Pyroblast this or not?
I think so. You might as well.
Like,
would.
Do you Pyroblast it? It gets Flusterstorm. The Flusterstorm is gone.
Oh, I guess you can untap Pyroblast it. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, right.
I like untap Pyroblast. I changed my mind.
See, I think I'm discussing it with him right now. Like, I'm looking at cracking my fetch and I'm going, do I do this? Like, you obviously played it. So I'm like, it resolves because you have Flusterstorm. The funniest part here, I believe someone else was watching behind and we were laughing, and Sock's like, maybe I have Flusterstorm, maybe I don't have Flusterstorm. We're just having that kind of joke around. And then later on in the game, he didn't have it. Oh yeah, he shows it. He doesn't have Flusterstorm. Jesus. All right, that was like a masterful bluff, right? Like he's playing. You know how you play, and you just the better your opponent is, the more likely they fall for your bluffs. So Sock's just like, You think you're smart, right? So, that's what I know you think you're smart. I'm going to get you. So he bluffs me and masterfully bluffs me that he has Flusterstorm. Like, what else does that represent? What else does Time Walk into your next turn, have mana up, Flusterstorm represent? So, this is what I DT'd for. Monastery Mentor.
I'll pay that.
Yeah, I specifically DT'd for it because I believe, like,
it's a spell that just says, like, you win counter battles even if you lose counter battles.
Correct. And this is also why I'm like, okay, if my Flusterstorm doesn't resolve, so be it. And I played the DT, and I believe I put the DT on the stack, and I said, how much time is in the round? And then that's a pretty big tell for my opponent when they're just like, what does that mean? That obviously means you're finding something. So that indicates I'm finding a threat, right? Not an answer.
It's pretty good here with Goosh and Misstep and Pyroblast. I think it's a sweet hand. I like your position.
And now the thing is, though,
Sock's hand was good too when he showed it.
Oh yeah. Now, how last turn, how we were talking about bluffing players? Last turn I played around him having Flusterstorm. So if you play around your opponent having Flusterstorm and you put them on it, you must do that for the rest of the game, right? That's that. Unless you're forced to otherwise. Otherwise, why else would you... Like, you've put them on this, so you must commit to putting them on that until such time as you need to...
Yeah, so he's going to cast Flusterstorm here.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, because my last card in hand is Pyroblast. So if I didn't Force of Will this, and I Pyroblasted, then I think my last card is Pyroblast. It must be Pyroblast, right? After all this, it's not Pyroblast.
If it's not Pyroblast,
after all this,
myself and the audience are going to be real cranky with you, so...
Here it is, 1 mana. Brainstorm! It wasn't Flusterstorm, it was Brainstorm!
And he's brainstormed in response.
So Brainstorm, you have to specifically find Force of Will.
Oh.
So he's specifically looking for Force of Will because the other card in his hand is a blue card, right? So, yep, the Force of Will resolves, Monastery Mentor resolves, and now I have Gush Pyroblast. That's my hand.
Pretty good hand.
It's a pretty good hand, but remember, we are almost hitting turns. So,
although Gush isn't great with a Leopold.
Yeah, so sometimes you you Gush just because you need to. All right, so there is an abrupt decay.
Oh, don't! If you've got Pyroblast first, right?
So clearly, I don't have Pyroblast.
You didn't have Pyroblast this whole time.
Yeah. So
are you kidding me, son?
So I Gush.
Wait, did you forget, or are you just bluffing us?
I don't know. We're going to find out very soon.
Wait, you can draw one of these?
Yeah, you draw one. So I respond to Abrupt Decay with Gush, return 2 lands, draw 1 card.
Is it Pyroblast?
That would be so ironic. Imagine if that 1 card was Pyroblast. And then you're like, Pyroblast Leo, that means I get to draw another card from that Gush that I couldn't draw, right? No.
Here's a good example of Abrupt Decay being better than Trophy, though.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, after someone's gushed and they just get a land back anyway.
Yep, for sure. I definitely regret so like I'm playing here to win, which is why I didn't play the library early. I played Demonic Tutor to find Monastery Mentor rather than say just finding, I don't know, Ancestral Recall or Treasure Cruise or like just a powerful card, or Yawgmoth's Will or just, DTing for Lotus and having a big Yawgmoth thing. I just didn't do this because I'm playing for trying to get a win. So that's why I was playing quite aggressively, looking for the Mentor. If we were playing this and there was unlimited time, I definitely wouldn't play it in this fashion. So this is a dig through time main phase, I believe, and 1 prowess trigger. So the prowess triggers are highly relevant here because we're going for time and you just need to race your opponent, and attacking for the same amount that Leovold attacks for, I win that race. As long as I don't crack my Flooded Strand, right? So this Dig Through Time reveals a Mental Misstep, a Force of Will, and...
other cards.
And Painful Truths, Strip Mine, Snapcaster, Tundra, and Preordain. So, as you can see, the plan here is trying to get that mentor token just going off. So I take Snap Misstep or Force Misstep.
I think it was Snap
Misstep, right? Yeah, because the plan.
You could almost snap digging.
Yeah, Snap Dig is pretty huge. Now, I have no other 1 mana spells. I think normally I would just run that token into Leovold. I just attack and pretend that I have a card that I could pump it 1 more and trade with the Leovold, because I'm pretty sure Sock never blocks a 2/2 token, right? Even though he would trade, you wouldn't block it, right?
No.
No way. So I think normally I would just run that guy into it and just get in 2 damage for free.
Sock's chaotic though.
Exactly.
He's really hard to read.
If he blocked, how big is it? And I'm like, it's a 2/2, but it has prowess. He would probably still block it. And then that's my one path to victory. Literally, my plan here is please attack me so that next turn I can make as many triggers as possible and I can attack you with this prowess guy. That's the plan, right? Because we're going to be going to turns.
I mean, Sock is very hard to read.
Yeah.
You already read him wrong once this game.
We are now currently in turns, which is why the pace of play has slowed down. During the Dig Through Time turn, and I think at some point wherever the gush happened, then I think the next turn where I went to the Dig Through Time, the reason that we took a longer time on the dig and then passing turns and all that took longer is because we're in turns. Because now we're just looking at how can I try and play for the win here. We haven't placed the dice on, so I don't know exactly which turn it is, but we'll find that out very soon, because it will become very relevant to how many prowess.
Is that Yixlid Jailer?
Yep, Yixlid Jailer turns off that Snapcaster Mage in my hand, right?
It also sort of turns the token off a little bit, because now you can double block and he can double block and kill it, or just chump and force a draw, or race,
Yeah, exactly. And as you see here, I've Snapcaster Mage for Dig Through Time. But
Jailer.
But this is in response to Jailer. So, like, if I crack my fetch land, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in the graveyard, which would be enough to cast Snap Dig. Why I didn't do that, I think there was a specific reason, and it was I need to have as many prowess triggers on my turn or something.
Maybe
I can't remember.
Do it.
Yeah. No, but it won't work with Yixlid Jailer out, right?
Is Jailer still on the stack?
Maybe it's still on the stack.
I feel like that's a pretty good play regardless.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's Pyroblast. So, Pyroblast targeting Leovold, drawing a card, and then this... Yep, so he's going... Pyroblast is still on the stack, and he's responding probably with an Abrupt Decay or something like that. It looks like 2 mana, right? 2 mana for an Abrupt Decay, no? 2 mana Dig, oof. Oof, that feeling when you're Pyroblasting Leo, but it's probably irrelevant because they're digging. and it feels really bad. So, yeah, this is Force. This is in my turn, I believe.
I'm pretty lost.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is in his turn, in his end step.
I think it's in my turn
he's cast
because I'm getting I wanted to get prowess triggers. I can't remember. Maybe it must be end step. Yep. So we managed to kill the Leovold, but the Dig Through Time resolved, and that's pretty painful, isn't it? The Dig
Through Time got forced.
The Dig Through Time got forced. Okay. Yep. That's right. And I'm on 11. Yixlid Jailer is out. The Snapcaster Mage. Maybe I didn't take Snapcaster Mage then all this time. Maybe I didn't. Because otherwise, you would flash back that Dig Through Time with exactly 6 cards in the graveyard. Other than the dig.
Bang, get in there for 1.
Yeah.
No prisoners.
Or maybe turns haven't been cold. I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah, it was a Snapcaster Mage. Okay.
Just patient, right?
Yeah. So, that's it. So I didn't do the dig because I wanted to just, so there's an Abrupt Decay. I get max punished.
So you were trying to do that play where you go snap, block, Ixalit.
Yeah, this is the play we're talking
dies,
about.
now you dig.
Yeah.
Which we still haven't confirmed if that works or not.
Yeah, we don't know if it works or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure because it loses flashback because it loses abilities. But then does it have flashback once Ixalit's dead? Don't know. Judge.
So either way, it was moot because the Abrupt Decay was there to kill the Snapcaster Mage. And
I think I prefer snap, dig, and response.
Yeah, in retrospect, I definitely prefer that. I think I don't know what I was planning there, in retrospect. I must have been thinking critically about the actual race clock or something. And
but getting snappy out
surely.
Earlier seems racier.
Surely, right?
I don't know, you love being racy.
Oh no. 3 mana. What's this? It's Managorger Hydra.
What does Managorger Hydra even do? I don't think I've ever read it.
1/1 trample, gets a +1/+1 counter anytime anyone casts a spell.
Okay. How many spells get cast in Vintage?
A few, I reckon. Here's one of them. But guess what? My prowess goes up at the same rate that the tramply guy goes up. Whoa.
Meaning you can never trade with it successfully?
Yeah. This was turn 4 of the game, I believe. So Socrates played the Managorger. He's just like, look, I'm not going to be able to get another turn or something. So he just jammed the Managorger. And I said, okay, here we go. And I...
You're getting close.
Yeah,
because you get another walkies.
I get a walkie.
Walkies in the walkies.
Take a walkies.
You flip Jace to become a walkie, and then you get to go walkies again.
Yeah, max walkies. So here's Jace Telepath Unbound. And note that his ability is a real nombo again. Oh, no. It works. It works.
No, it does not.
Right? All cards in graveyards lose all abilities.
Yeah.
This is me reading it, and I believe I called the judge, and I'm like, so to my understanding, all cards in graveyards lose all abilities. However, Jace Telepath Unbound does not give an ability to a card in the graveyard. The card is just able to be cast. Yeah.
Ixalit Jailer doesn't seem that good.
Ixalit Jailer seems confusing. That's what it feels like.
I don't know. I really like the card. It's a spicy card. I'd like it if it was graveyards don't work.
Yeah.
If it was 2 for a 2/1, graveyards don't work.
Really sensible thing.
But I just find so many times, it's just but I can still do this, but I can still do this, I can still delve, I can still do this. I can still block and snap it or whatever,
Oh, that's so funny.
You can still because you can still reanimate, right?
Yes, because you can target the thing.
Target it.
It doesn't have an ability.
Exactly. So,
but you can't
you can still do a lot of.
You can't Faithless Looting.
You can't dredge.
Yeah, you can't dredge. You can't Faithless Looting.
Yeah, but it still does quite a lot of stuff. So it's kind of. Can you still ram it up or Crucible?
Yes, because you can just play the card from the graveyard.
Doesn't really switch off that much.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder why it's in there. I guess it's in there because it's a hate bear. It's a 2-power attacker, which is pretty sweet.
It's a cool card.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's a cool card. I feel like it's got some use, but it's just right now. I feel like it's just not switching off enough key things.
Yes, yeah, I agree with you.
What's that one that the new cleric that they're playing in? Death and Taxes is a 2/1 flyer, and you can exile it. You can sack it to exile graveyards.
Tormod's Cleric.
Yeah, that just feels better to me.
Yeah, seems decent. White just seems like a better colour in Vintage, right? With Monastery Mentor and Fragmentize, Swords to Plowshares, all that kind of business. Balance. So this is the flashed back Dig Through Time off Jace Vryn's Prodigy. We've got 1 prowess counter on the 1/1 monk token.
You didn't flashback Talk.
Because I believe there's no more turns to be taken, right?
So is it a draw?
It's either that. It's either that.
Have you got 3 lightning bolts?
No, I believe this is me thinking in the Dig Through Time hand there. In the Dig Through Time hand, there's a Swords to Plowshares. The issue is, in a game with unlimited time, I'd love that, right? Kill the Managorger Hydra, start to go to town with this token, or the token can trade with the Ixalit Jailer or something like that, or become bigger. giving your opponent 6 life points is pretty bad in a race when you have only a limited number of turns of the game actually remaining.
Yeah, that's like 3 turns, right?
Yeah, which is why I'm tanking so hard in this dig through time. I'm showing it to the camera. Teferi, Swords for Plowshares, Mox Pearl, and the other cards are irrelevant. That's why I didn't even show them. I think it was like land, Force of Will or something, something irrelevant like that. And so I'm going like, do I take Mox Pearl, and I'm unable, and I can trigger my token, but I can't play Teferi this turn? Do I take
I feel
Swords
like you can't
to
win,
Plowshares?
you just take swords, right?
Yeah, but maybe I can win. So, I know, right? I believe I called it a little bit too early before when I said that the timer was no turns left. There's a dice on the top of Sock's library. So I believe maybe that means Sock is turn 1, I'm turn 2, he's turn 3, I'm turn 4, he's turn 5. But little does he know that my intention is to time walk for that last extra turn so that I'm the one that gets the extra turn. And I'm hoping he makes some kind of mistake. Yeah, by using the Jace flashback on that. That's why I flashback the dig through time now, but plan to flashback the time walk later. Go for walkies a little bit later on. So it's relevant here to whether or not I take, and I'm like calculating every swing here because I have to Swords for Plowshares his critter, and then I get in. He gains 6 life, but I attack for 3, so he goes to 12. Then I have Teferi in hand for the following turn, but if I do this play, his Yixla Jailer attacks my Jace Vryn's Prodigy as Jace Telepath Unbound, meaning I cannot flip my Time Walk. So, Jace Telepath Unbound has not done. Oh no, actually he has. Yeah. So
you've got another Jace in hand. You could play Jace, and then
pretty sweet,
and then flip it. Right. You could cast Jace and Swords here if you took Jace Swords.
Yeah. I don't have that. So I've just got Teferi, Mox Pearl.
So you don't have Jace Vryn's Prodigy in hand?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just got. But it's all about this dig. So I believe my hand is pretty meh. So I end up taking Teferi and Swords to Plowshares. We Swords to Plowshares the Managorger Hydra, which is incoming now. He ends up going up to 5 counters. So Sock gains 6 life. He goes up to 5 counters. Gains 6 life. I have a prowess on my monk token. But if I attack here, he kills my Jace Telepath Unbound, meaning I can't time walk. So my hope is that he attacks me because my life total is 9, and he thinks maybe because he's got turns 1, 3, and 5. He doesn't know. He doesn't know that Jace Vryn's Prodigy. There's turn 1. Yep. So he doesn't know that Jace Telepath Unbound is earmarked to take the last turn of the game. So like he could attack it, but I'm like, hopefully attack me. And so, he goes attack me. And I go, yep, that's good. That's part of our plan.
I feel like you attack Jace here anyway, because next turn you can just uptick it on the Jailer anyway, right?
Yeah. But he's got multiple threats. So I think his hand is full of critters. Oh, no, not critters.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And you can see how my taking Teferi there, even though there's no other option, it was basically Teferi or Mox Pearl. Those are my 2 choices. But taking Teferi there was like, of all the things, the null rod that you were saying needs to be taken out ends up literally deciding this game. Because the null rod doesn't let me play Teferi, because Teferi was just going to go put away, trigger.
I mean, mind token. You, if I was Sock, I was going to sideboard in.
Oh, that's right. No, I was mana flooded, so I had land anyway.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to sideboard in Crucible for null rod, so it was pretty nothing either way. But
so this is Teferi in his glorified little removal spell. I attack for 2 with the Prowess Monk. And now we have a massive crowd around us. It's actually on 1. Yeah. We have a massive crowd around us because this match here is basically determining the entire tournament of who wins. And it's turn 3 now. And so Socrates goes, well, he's got turn 3 and turn 5. But, and he might have Abrupt Decay or something for Jace Telepath Unbound. So he ships the turn, he doesn't attack, ships a turn back, because his Uxala Jailer is a 0-1. And this is the 4th turn of the game, and critical turn of the game.
You know what? I was playing with Sock on Monday, and he just randomly asked me, hey, Beckett, if it's in turns, and someone time walks, do they get that turn, or is there another turn on top of that, or what? And I'm like, they just take the turn.
So
There's only 5 total turns.
We just did that.
He was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm literally about to do that too, so right now.
Well, Monday was after this game,
Yeah.
so I think he was like, was Sarv tricking me?
So now we do a bunch of math. Your opponent is on 10. You've got a Teferi that has gone up.
It's like one of those puzzles. Have you played those magic puzzles?
Magic,
it's like
the puzzling.
Yeah, it's like you can do this, or like a chess puzzle. Like, you know, you can win in 3 moves as white.
Yeah, where do you do it? What do you do?
What do?
Now, one of the critical aspects here is the reason I had the land to play Teferi there was because I was flooding out. And when I upped Teferi there to draw a card, I drew another land. And I was like, not like this. I just need anything to trigger prowess. Prowess, please.
So 1 prowess trigger.
Yeah. So look at this. I get 1 prowess trigger from this time walk, and my monk token is a 2/2. Because Jace Telepath Unbound doesn't get the opportunity to minus Uxala Jailer. Uxala Jailer is a 2/1. If I attack here, they trade, and I can't win the game on turn 5. It's all about attacking with this guy. So,
well, I think you still would attack, right, and just hope he doesn't block, because you can't win anyway. You just hope he doesn't block.
I don't know. He'll just block on the and then block on the following turn.
And block on the assuming like hopefully Sarv doesn't make it a 9/9 or 10/10.
Yeah, true. Yep, I can see that as being fair. Just trading with the critter, or chumping it into 1 more prowess, which is 3 less life for you. Like gaining 3 life, which is fine when you basically can't win the game. So Sock definitely can't win the game here, and says, but I can. So it's all about trying to math out a way to actually close this game in this turn plus.
Do you know what you've got in hand?
I believe it's something like land, Pyroblast or something.
Seems bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty woeful. But the following turn, I get to draw a card for turn and draw a card from Teferi. That's the key. I need to draw 2. I need to draw.
I mean, you could hit like Brainstorm, right?
Yeah, Brainstorm into a bunch of things. That's the thing. So, this is us still doing some math. And Sock, I think Sock said, I still got 2 cards in hand like this, and I'm going, oh, can you not have Abrupt Decay? Can you not have there are so many things that destroy this plan. This is the most fragile plan, but I have to play to win, this is the tournament. This is what we're playing for. We've got to try and get there. And what costs 3 mana in Vintage? There's always a good 3 mana spell.
Well, it's not mental.
A blue and something else.
Surely
Let's find
not.
out.
It's Liliana of the Veil.
Oh, Liliana of the Veil. Oh, yes. So Teferi, one thing to factor in is Teferi does in my untapped, end step, untap 2 lands. So you can untap 2 lands, untap a land, do a Pyroblast and that kind of thing. But the problem is, those are less prowess triggers. The fewer prowess triggers I have, the less likely I am to win this game. So it's up to 3 now. And we get Dak Faden to draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. And remember my hand was a bunch of lands? Let's draw not lands. Anything. My fragile plan. Let's put it together. Let's hope that there's some way we can finagle a W out.
Is that a Swords?
Swords of Plowshares in hand. Notion Thief and land. How much would you have wanted to see this game not go to time? Right? Just see how this actually plays out.
I think you just get there, right? I think it's no longer tight. It's only tight at the time.
Oh yeah, maybe.
But arguably Sock could have been playing it differently.
Yeah, true.
Well.
I think so. And the Managorger Hydra is pretty scary in some of these instances. So here's a go to end step. Now, end step. This is a tricky one. Do you end step Swords to Plowshares a thing, or in your next turn Swords to Plowshares their thing?
I prefer in my next turn.
Yeah, but you're one less mana.
You are one less mana, but you're one
on the critical turn.
But you're +1, and you're +1 prowess, and you might not even need. Like I know you probably know your deck better, and you know there's no other spot removal. Yeah. But like, I think Swords gaining 2 life.
Yeah, but I think the 1 life... Basically, it's a difference between 1 life or 2 life. That's the question. But he has Mental Misstep. Woof. Brutal, right?
Very brutal.
Yeah, and it's paid for with mana. So, here's turn 5. I've stolen Socrates' 5th turn, the last turn of the game. And now we look for Teferi and Dak Faden to do some magic. Here we go, Teferi and Dak Faden. Work your magic. Find us some cards. So that's 1 draw off Teferi, and there's no prowess, obviously. And then we're going to go for a 2 draw off Dak Faden. And we need to assemble...
Was it Preordain in hand?
Yeah, there's a Preordain in hand, and the question is to Preordain first or not. Because, remember, I'll be discarding some cards, and...
I prefer Dak first. Yeah, it depends on what your hand is, but obviously...
The other factor is, what does he have in hand? What if he has Flusterstorm or Misstep? So if I try and find the Swords to Plowshares first, that's the main thing. So like, dacking without putting a spell on the stack to find Swords to Plowshares is one way, or I could Preordain to try and find that Swords to Plowshares, but then I might get flustered. So I'm not sure. Painful Truths. Here we go. Painful Truths for 3. Prowess trigger 1. Draw 3 cards. This is why I didn't DAC, because now I can actually discard lands and, you know, have as many Moxen and other things to make as many prowess counters as possible.
Well, I didn't know you had Painful Truths.
Mm-hmm. If in doubt, I have Painful Truths all the time, alright? Like, these cards so
even
good.
if he's playing Jeskai.
There's
an underground sea in there somewhere.
Splashing Painful Truths. Ready to go. He's even playing, you know, look at my hand. How gas is that? So now I have Pyroblast, Force of Will blue card, Force of Will blue card, ready to, you know, get as many prowess triggers as I need. But the critical thing isn't there. I don't believe there is a Swords to Plowshares there. Because I need to be able to remove that Yixla Jailer, otherwise he just chump blocks.
But even Swords here, Swords resolves, he goes to 9, your guy goes to 7, and then you can just cast Faff.
Yeah, you cast a Preordain, and then you cast...
Force it.
Yeah, force it, and then force back the force, and then actually resolve the Preordain, find a Mox, play the Mox. Like, there's a way to do it. It's just all hinging on the fact that...
And Sock just had a propagate this whole time.
I'm not going to spoil it for you. Sock was definitely not one for putting me out of my misery.
Lotus.
Yeah. So this is the point at which I play Revealed. I'm like, look, I don't think I have enough to get here because I do not have a Swords to Plowshares. No matter what I do, you block with your... Right? Yeah. You whatever I do, you're going to block. So I have to... And because the Null Rod is here. Remember how we were saying how the Null Rod is bad?
Of course.
How good is the Null Rod?
Yeah, Null Rod.
If the Null Rod wasn't here, jamming those rocks and then just playing all the things is huge. Yeah. So here, I have to discard the 2 rocks to Dak Faden. Because I haven't done the discard yet.
Well, you don't have to, because you might want to Pyros trigger.
Yeah, so like discard a force.
I see. Yeah, this is tough.
Yeah, right. This is why this turn took so long, because I'm like,
this is tough.
I really need to find. So I do this off the other blue source so that I can try and find Swords to Plowshares, and then I go maybe it's this, maybe it's that.
Yeah, I think who knows.
Yeah, I was pointing at the Null Rod, being like, the Null Rod is amazing. So yeah, I said, look, if I'm going to be using the Volk, then I have to discard the Pyroblast because otherwise I don't have any mana to use it. So it's all about discarding the 2 things I couldn't cast, or I could only cast 1. Use the Volk to cast.
Maybe you had to
find Swords to Plowshares. How good is this, right?
Maybe you had to pitch Force.
No, because I need to use the Force to force itself to pitch to Force.
But you are losing cards total, right?
Yeah. Either way, you can't cast all of them. So here's the Swords to Plowshares. And we go, look, we've got Black Lotus. So Black Lotus takes it all the way up to a large amount of counters. Look at this. Flusterstorm. Flusterstorm.
If there's anything else, huh?
Right? So, like, if it was Misstep, then
force it.
I force the Misstep, and then I play the Lotus, and then you get a massive attack, right? But how good was that? That was so close. And as you noted, both games 2 and 3 decided entirely by Flusterstorm.
Yeah.
All right. That was awesome. So, unfortunately, due to that, it ended up being a draw, and clutch Flusterstorms will do it. So thank you very much to my opponent Socrates for putting up a really, really good fight. In the end, both Socrates and I, due to this
played
draw...
well holding that Flusterstorm, very patient.
Yeah, for sure. We ended up... because of this draw, we ended up coming second and third, and the winner of the event... in an undefeated position, because his only draw was to me is choo value train here,
the steamroll train
rolling into the station. The steamroller in comes.
Wait,
Steve,
is the steamroller a train?
No.
What does it do?
Yeah, Steve Lowe steamrolls the entire tournament with his Lavinia control. So welcome to the steamroller into our.
Hall of Heroes. Congratulations.
Yeah, big congrats. Thank you very much for everyone sticking with us, watching this excellent tournament. It was a lot of fun to play, and it was a lot of fun to bring this to you. We are Adelaide Eternal, and we'll see you in our next.
All the best.